Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Ted's Booze Cellar, the premier alcohol review show here on YouTube with me, your most gracious host, Ted. I'm sorry for not having done an episode last week. I was sick as a dog with a really bad case of the cold, and it's taken me a bit of a while to recover. I haven't gone to the gym this week, and I've just been eating a lot of calorific food, so I'm probably a bit unfit, but I'll get back to going to the gym next week, and we'll try and get back onto the regular rhythm of things as we move forwards. But I thought I'd do an episode that I meant to do last week today to make it up to you guys, and as I mentioned in the last episode, I went to the Green Valley, or the Green Valley's honey store in the Brighton Open Market. Now, I've mentioned before they do a lot of really interesting honey-related products. They also do curds, honeys, honey brewed like beers. They do soaps. They do all sorts of different things. Not all of it is just honey, but it's like based around like ecological conservation, sort of like producing sort of like nice, interesting products based around that sort of thing. Anyway, would really recommend you give them a look. And we're taking a look today at a drink that they were selling there by our old friends at Lindisfarne. Now, Lindisfarne are a classic old mead brewery here in England, and today we're going to be taking a look at their Pink Mead. Now, I looked up for a bit of an explanation on their website, but it was a bit lacking, in my opinion. It says here, this special rose edition of our legendary mead, made using conventional methods on the holy island of Lindisfarne, is a tidal island off the Northumbrian coast, particularly popular during the summer months. This is a light and refreshing drink that will appeal to all tastes, even those without a particularly sweet tooth. The drink is produced at St Aidan's winery, which stands in the clear, unpolluted atmosphere of this most beautiful island. It has an ABV of 14.5% and is a unique blend of honey and fermented grapes, celebrating the processes used from the region's past. Our pink is truly a memorable pink mead with a zest of orange. The addition of citrus flavours, particularly blood oranges, makes this delicious on its own, although the addition of gin, tonic or lemonade have also been trialled and approved. So this seems more like a mixer than the standard or spiced ones. I suppose you could sort of even view it in a similar way to how people used to view port, where that originally back in the day was seen as kind of almost like a cocktail mixer to certain degrees. I feel like this could be nice enough to drink on its own though, because Lindisfarne's mead is usually pretty consistent. So yeah, I think this is going to be a good one. It's 14.5% alcohol volume, like they said, 35 centilitre bottle, and this was £8 from the Green Valley's honey store in the open market. So if you like the sound of it, give it a shot. But I will say, as always, very colourful sort of a mixture of styles and shades here on the labelling. I will say it's a little bit, the colours here do clash a little bit, so I'll give the labelling and the design of the bottle like an 8 out of 10. I feel like it's sort of like just slightly more, I don't know, it's just this particular shade of sort of like teal and pink don't really necessarily mix for me personally, but that's just my opinion. It's still very handsome looking though, so I'll give the look of this a nice 8 out of 10. Anyway, let's have a quick snifter of it, see what our first impressions are like. Oh god, the nose isn't great in the bottle. It kind of reminds me of the ciders I reviewed that one time from Big Nose and Beardy, which were pretty bad. So in the bottle it's like probably like a 5, but let's try smelling it in the glass. Let's see. Okay, in the glass it's a bit nicer. In the glass it's got like this, it's got this blood orange and sort of grapefruity smell with like this slightly dandelionish after smell, which is actually quite nice. Yeah, and then there's sort of like slightly lemony bit to it as well. I don't know, I think in the glass it's probably like a 6.5. It's got probably the weakest nose out of any Lindisfarne mead I've tried so far, so I would say maybe they were right with suggesting it as a sort of a quasi-mixer of sorts, but anyway, we'll see what it's properly like once we actually taste it. So I would say 6.5 out of 10 for the nose for the time being. But anyway, let's have a quick palate cleanser of water. And then on to the most important part of the video, which is to see what this sucker tastes like. So, to everyone at home, bottoms up. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, so you got the usual Lindisfarne sort of like fermented honey sort of mead through line there that sort of ties everything together. You got this slightly, very subtly floral sort of like undertone with like a nice sort of juicy punch of grapefruit, just undercutting everything really nicely. It's like that fine balance between summery, traditional British fields, that sort of feel of that. And I don't know if it's maybe just me, I get almost like a slight tint of what I feel could be cinnamon. I might be completely wrong, but at the end, but like it's in a way where it's like feels very summery, and it's sort of like with sort of very sort of like almost like oaky flavours like cinnamon. Usually you'd obviously associate them with sort of either autumn or wintry flavours, but it sort of really combines really well with that sort of like juicy citrus and floral undertone there, and the sort of the Summer Valley sort of like honey flavour that's like the main through line. It combines really well. I think the finish is the bit I'm struggling the most to describe. It kind of feels like cinnamon, but not quite. I think it's more so that it's just, it has a similar sensation to like a cinnamon flavour, but it's really more so that it's kind of like a blood orange / grapefruit flavour at the end that kind of sort of ties everything together. Generally speaking, the flavour here is actually really simple, but it's really nice. It's in stark contrast to the nose, which I felt was very underwhelming and kind of sort of a little bit sort of like, I'm trying to think of the right word, kind of very just sort of just very underwhelming. It just wasn't really that notable, and it wasn't really the nicest, although it wasn't horrible by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah, I'll give this a solid 8 out of 10. I think I slightly prefer the spice one. I think the plain one is also a little bit nicer. I think they are right in saying that this is probably served best as a mixer. I'd probably imagine serving it with, I'd say, a mixture of like dry gin and like slimline tonic, or potentially maybe some like, put in a summery cocktail with like Pimm's, a tiny bit of like lemon gin and like maybe some tonic water, or like some club soda. I think that's probably the best way to have it. It definitely does feel like a sort of quasi mixer of sorts, but to be honest with you, even on its own, it's still like a solid 8 out of 10. So yeah, definitely recommend this. Give it a shot and see what you guys think. But as always, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, leave a like, share and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for future episodes of Ted's Booze Cellar, let me know in the comments section down below. And if you want to check out anything else I do online, I'll try and remember to leave my social medias in the video description down below as well. But until next time, have fun, stay safe for whatever you're doing, don't do anything I wouldn't do, wash your hands, drink responsibly, know your limits, and I'll see you guys at the bar next time on Ted's Booze Cellar. Bye-bye for now.